In the heart of a peaceful village surrounded by rolling hills, lived a lady named Zara. Zara was known for her vibrant spirit and infectious smile. Her dreams were as big as the sky. She wanted to expand her small bakery, help her neighbors, and explore the lands beyond the hills. To Zara, the new year was a blank canvas, ready for her to paint her ambitions. She diligently wrote her goals in a notebook, promising herself that this would be the year she made her dreams a reality. The villagers loved Zara's bakery. Her bread, with its golden crust and soft interior, was the highlight of many mornings. However, Zara wasn't content with her small success. She envisioned a bustling shop, filled with laughter, where her community could gather and connect. Little did she know that life had its own plans, and the path to her dreams would be far more challenging than she imagined. The year started with promise. But by spring, Zara's optimism was tested. Heavy rains ruined her bakery's roof, forcing her to close for weeks. The fields she relied on for fresh ingredients yielded little, and her small savings dwindled as she struggled to repair the damage. By summer, the situation worsened. The village faced a drought, and Zara's water supply for the bakery became scarce. Customers stopped visiting as they dealt with their own struggles, leaving Zara's shelves filled with unsold loaves. Despite her efforts to innovate and attract customers, it seemed like nothing worked. Her once vivid dreams began to feel distant, like a fading star in the night sky.
Why is everything going wrong?
But Zara, the weary, kept going, holding on to the faint hope that brighter days might still lie ahead. As the leaves turned golden and fell, Zara's hope dwindled further. Her bakery, once bustling with life, was eerily quiet. She spent long hours alone, kneading dough that no one came to buy. Each day felt heavier than the last, and Zara began questioning her abilities. Zara sat on the bakery steps, watching villagers pass by. Many waved, but she felt too ashamed to wave back. She had always been the one to lift others' spirits, yet now she felt like a failure. The vibrant smile she was known for had been replaced by a quiet sadness. Zara found herself withdrawing from friends and family. She didn't want to share her struggles, fearing they would see her as weak. Alone with her thoughts, she began to doubt whether her dreams had ever been possible. Her once bright vision of the future grew dim. On the last day of the year, Zara found herself under the village's old oak tree. In her hands was the notebook she had filled with dreams at the start of the year. The pages were a mix of crossed-out plans and untouched goals. She flipped through them, each page a painful reminder of what she hadn't achieved. Tears welled up in her eyes as she whispered,
What's the point of dreaming if I keep failing?
She closed the notebook and leaned against the tree, feeling the weight of her year's struggles pressing down on her. The sky above was a muted gray, reflecting her mood. As the wind rustled the bare branches, Zara felt more alone than ever. She couldn't shake the thought that perhaps her dreams had been too big, her goals too ambitious for someone like her. As Zara sat lost in thought, she noticed movement out of the corner of her eye. An elderly traveler was approaching, his robes simple but his presence commanding. As he walked, his steps were deliberate, and his eyes held a calm wisdom that immediately caught Zara's attention.
Why the tears, young one?
He asked gently, his voice warm and inviting. Zara hesitated, unsure if she wanted to share her burdens with a stranger, but something about him made her feel safe.
I've tried so hard this year, but all I've faced are failures. My dreams feel as far away as the stars. I just don't understand why everything I worked for fell apart, she added.
The traveler came closely beside her, his presence reassuring, and said,
Perhaps your failures are not endings. Perhaps they are lessons.
The traveler pointed to a small river flowing through the village below. Do you see that river? He asked. Zara nodded. It's smaller now because of the drought, she replied. The traveler reached into his satchel and pulled out a small scroll. Gently, He handed it to Zara. "This is for you," he said. Zara unrolled the scroll, her hands trembling slightly. "And read the words. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future." He read. A warmth spread through Zara's heart. The words felt like a balm for her weary soul. "Do you believe this?" the traveler asked. Zara hesitated but nodded slowly. "I want to," she said. "Trust in the one who gave you this promise," the traveler encouraged. "Your failures are not endings. There are steps in your journey. Leave behind the burdens of this year and step boldly into the next, knowing you are never alone." Zara looked at the horizon, the sun beginning to set. For the first time in months, she felt a glimmer of hope. "But how do I start again?" she asked the traveler. "Begin with gratitude," he said. "Recognize the good, even in the midst of hardship. Then, trust that your journey is guided. Finally, take bold steps, no matter how small." Zara pondered his words. She realized that even in her struggles, there had been moments of grace, neighbors who offered support, a loaf of bread gifted to a hungry child, and the resilience she'd shown despite her challenges. "Thank you," she said, her voice steady. The traveler nodded, his eyes twinkling with encouragement. "Remember," he said, "the river keeps flowing because it knows its destination." And he walked away, leaving Zara with the scroll and a renewed sense of purpose. That night,